The 2012 postseason provided us with some incredible memories, and 2013 really should be no different, with 14 Ventura County teams reaching the playoffs. We started at the top as 4 county teams will try to navigate their way through the ultra-difficult Pac-5. Westlake stunned St. Bonnie in October, then Oaks Christian on a blocked punt last week, and for that they earned the top spot out of the Marmonte League. The Warriors host 2009 state champion Servite, and with a win would play Alemany for a spot in the semis. A deep Pac-5 run seemed like the impossible after off-field issues and a pair of early season losses.
Well, we went through some adversity as a football team, and we've come through it as a group, and our kids have been toughened up a little bit from a standpoint of facing that adversity, and they've stayed together and played hard, and everybody's back on the field, and now we're ready to compete. After
the disastrous last-second defeat to Westlake, Oaks Christian will look to regroup with a home game against Mater Dei. One publication has the Monarchs ranked as the 28th best team in the country. St. Bonaventure travels to the same place Oaks Christian's season ended a year ago, Sherman Oaks Notre Dame. The Seraphs with a win would likely face defending state D1 runner-up Long Beach Poly and renew the great rivalry the two schools had last decade. Agora, meanwhile, takes on unbeaten and top-seeded St. John Bosco. In the Western Division, the Pacific View and Channel Leagues are represented well, with Camarillo handed the number 4 slot as they take on Los Padres at-large San Ynez. With a win, the Scorpions would meet either Culver City or St. Francis, and eventually top-seeded Serra in the semifinals. This is an important postseason for the Scorpions, who will likely be playing next year in the Marmonte League. Good luck. Fellow league champion Ventura landed at the bottom half of the bracket and will host Napomo on Friday in our live Game of the Week broadcast.
I believe when it came to the draw that we got a pretty good draw for where we stand. We faced Napomo, and watching them on film, they're a good football team. They're the number 3 out of the Los Padres.
The Cougars have won 4 straight in a clean sweep of the Channel League, but Garcia emphasized the nature of the postseason to his players.
We were stressing this do or die. And if you want to play next week, you got to win this week. And it's game by game, week by week, actually day by day, because we're a firm believer in how you prepare Monday through Thursday is the outcome you're going to get on Friday.
If the Cougars win, they will host second-seeded Chaminade, a team that earlier in the season beat Oaks Christian. Elsewhere in the Western, Pacifica faces top-seeded Serra as the number 3 team in the PVL, while Buena, making their first postseason appearance under Tim Gutierrez after their big 14-7 win over Dos Pueblos, make a long trip up to Morro Bay. A win for the Bulldogs would mean a meeting with Serra as well. Last but not least, it was a remarkable season for Channel Islands, and the Raiders, the second-place finisher in the PVL, take on Santa Monica in the opening round. While the Trinity League rules the Pac-5 and the Mission League is surely in charge of the Western Division, the Tri-Valley runs the Northwest. All 5 Tri-Valley League teams reach the playoffs, claiming the division's 3 at-large bids.
That's insane. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think anybody's ever really heard of that. So that kind of messed up the bracket a little bit, just because in the first and second round you can't play a team that's from your league. So that kind of jumbled things up a little bit.
Oak Park at 9-1 is the top seed in the division and has a comparatively easy road to the semifinals. The Eagles are the prohibitive favorite, but to win it all would likely have to unseat defending champion Nordhoff. The Rangers were the number 2 seed in 2012 and see similarities in this year's possible playoff run.
I think pretty much it's the same thing. I mean, our first round's going to be a lot tougher than our second round, I think, and it's going to be the same thing for Oak Park. Oak Park got a little better seeding, but that's what happens when you're in first place.
Santa Paula earned an at-large bid with a win over El Segundo and could battle Carpinteria in the quarterfinals. Workman believes 3 or 4 teams from the Tri-Valley League could make up the division's semifinalists.
You can already tell that we have a very difficult league. I mean, if any team from our league can make it just by playing us, Oak Park, and Bishop, I mean, you could easily see the top 4 teams being from the Tri-Valley.
And finally, the East Valley Division, where Fillmore may have beaten Santa Clara last week but lost the coin flip. So the Flashes travel to Citrus Valley for their opener. Fillmore would likely host Big Bear with a win on Friday night. Frontier number 1 Santa Clara has it far easier. They host Banning Friday. 7-3 Saints would face unbeaten Western Christian for a trip to the semis on November 22nd. With 14 county teams in the playoffs, the postseason promises to be compelling, and VCS Preps will have complete coverage. We'll see you in the playoffs. For VCS Preps Video, I'm Danny Payne.
Rid of it, throws, incomplete!
and the St. Bonaventure Seraphs advance to the semifinals.